Hello, it's me, your boy Web, and this is pre-breakfast Web, or some of the people that I'm staying with, some of my pals, some of the people that I'm staying with, they call it brekkie, and I'm not entirely sure why, but so if you want to stick to the UK thematics, this is pre-brekkie Web. Because I'm trying to sneak a couple more videos in. I realized that I have another opportunity to definitely not take advantage of someone else's Wi-Fi, with their knowledge, of course. And which is how I'm uploading all of these episodes as a backlog. Basically, I'm staying at somebody else's place and their internet is much better, and they said it was alright. So it is, if nobody got me, if nobody got me, I know BT got me, which is weird, because apparently BT is, like, the worst one. Like, people hate BT. Are we gonna play Mizuki? I can't remember who we played last. I'm pretty sure we played Yashiro last, and it was, like, a devastating loss, so let's just default to Miku. And let's do Miku Knight Errant Timeline A. That sounds interesting. Because Miku is, very weak at the start of the game, and so you might have to trade 7% Doom here and there for getting, stronger and/or just surviving in general. But you could also use the inspiring novel to compensate for the fact that your first mystery sucks. So second enemy and second mystery. And then what was it, like the knowledge and the strength check? Two of the best stats to level up in the game? Yeah. So here's the thing, let me just say this. All my homies hate Talk, and Vodafone and BT are officially the lads. Because that's the only reason why you've had daily uploads. And if the episode uploads on time, chances are Vodafone or BT were the ones who carried that to victory. I clicked on Yashiro, didn't I? Yeah, I did. We avoided it for so long that now I just kind of click on Yashiro and not think about it. So I do apologize for that, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not really gonna lose, like, too much sleep over it, if that makes sense. So we might sell the bottle of water, because we are gonna get a benefit out of it, don't get me wrong. We might sell the bottle of water to get the monkey wrench, just for one curse. I think that's probably for the best. But one thing that I was thinking of, I mean, we are on Timeline A, so we have to fight the Scissor Woman. But, what I'm thinking of is, do we want to do, like, with Inspiring Novel, and a good weapon, we could probably kill, Coma Man here. The Finger, the Dream Devourer, the, my least favorite monster from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because that episode gave me nightmares. True story, the one where, like, they steal your voice or whatever. Oh god, that was an awful one. I mean, that was a great episode, but, like, young me did not like that episode at all. But yeah, no, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer is good, by the way. I've actually gotten a lot of crap for it. For some reason, some of my British family members were under the assumption, and this is gonna be throwing them under the bus here, when they can't even defend themselves, but for some reason, we're gonna do, I mean, botany's a guaranteed 7%, like, let's just be real here. So we'll do, I mean, Household Hell, that might even be a 7% as well, because we need a light source and to sacrifice an ally. So we're gonna have to take an L somewhere, but where? I think we'll start with Botany, because that's a guaranteed L anyways, because we don't have mermaids. And because we don't have mermaids, that's just like the... Okay, Branded is pretty bad. I will admit, Branded is pretty awful. But, I don't know, we should have a somewhat decent chance here. And I need to check. I need to do one thing real quick. I need to Alt-Tab. We are recording. But you see, it says it's on quiet, but I don't believe it. because the fans are, like, when I toggle it between normal and quiet, the fans immediately go silent, and then they kick up a little bit. But they were going, like, low, normal, high, quiet, when they should have just been going, like, normal, quiet, I think. But anyways, since we accidentally clicked on our boy Yashiro, we've gotten a buff, which we would not otherwise have. So if you take, like, -4 reason at the very beginning of the game, you're very not happy with that. But because we had Yashiro's glitch, we're more than happy to, like, not be below 10 reason, which is, again, it's a little bit cheating, but at the same time, it's like, you know, it was an accident. And also, it's not my fault that that's in the game to begin with. Kindly refuse, because I don't want to risk, like, 2% doom for 4 knowledge. It's not particularly something I'm interested in. But, yeah, anyways, what was I saying about Buffy the Vampire Slayer and my family having misconceptions? They thought that it was similar to, and this is true, they thought it was similar to something like Love Island or The Bachelorette, which, I mean, that's probably, like, one of the most disrespectful things I think I've ever heard about a show that I like. But, I mean, I don't even know what Love Island is, but I've heard it's an absolute disaster. But yeah, no, it's just kind of, yeah, we're gonna take 3 to all, who cares? I mean, I do, but, you know, you gotta spend stamina and reason to make EXP. Which is, it's not a very catchy statement, but it's also completely true. But, yeah, it's like, they thought Buffy, the Vampire Slayer, was something like, you know, torn muscle, which is not very good. But, I mean, 4 damage versus 5 damage, it's still pretty bad, but we won't have to deal with it after this. But yeah, no, so it's like, that's pretty disrespectful, right? Like, I mean, I understand that there's an audience for things like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. I know several people who like those shows. But I don't know, like, it's just such... It's weird TV, right? Because it's not natural to say, like, hey, here's 20 people, decide which one of them you want to marry. Right? Like, that's crazy. And I don't think that's, I don't think that's particularly a crazy thing to say, as being crazy. And then Love Island, I don't really know anything about it. Somebody tried to explain it to me. It's basically like a bunch of models go on an island, and then they pair up, and then they introduce, like, the supermodel, and then you see which one of the people breaks away from their pair, because it's an odd number of people. And so you see which guy immediately dumps their paired up girlfriend to go with the supermodel. And, I mean, why would you want to watch something like that? Is confusing to me. So Shiro-san was the second enemy, right? I'm pretty sure. Because did we fight something? Surely we did fight something. Yeah, the doll, the Poogie the bear, my boy. Otherwise known as the Dream Eater, I believe. It's like an anteater looking thing. So, I would like to start picking up ending A dubs, but we can't do it. We can't do school scissors because we have the torn muscle. So, and another thing that's kind of annoying is that we kind of have to do. Okay, so we go here. We wish for money. Holes is pretty bad. We go to the hardware store, and there's the can of acid, but it's 3 funds, dude. So now we have to, like, go to the police station and then share some information so that we can go to the hospital and get our torn muscle taken care of. Can you believe this? And it was blood loss, a permanent debuff of minus 10% max stamina. Are you crazy? I mean, it doesn't really mean anything because it's not very, and we're gonna do the side quest because we want to make that EXP back, but... And also, the mansion is, like, a low threat level, so we really just gotta worry about Branded. But yeah, what spell do we have, by the way? Grow Teeth? So we could eat Oteru if we wanted to. We're not going to. Because that would be absurd. We should have probably taken the stamina there, but you never know when you're randomly gonna walk into art class and somebody posted cringe. Or at least I assume that. No, dude, no. You walk into art class and somebody made like one of those things that's like a banana taped to the wall, and somebody buys it for like $8 million, and it's like, oh, that's what it is. You don't know, like, with your astute art knowledge, aka your ability to scam people, you understand that this is worth money and you pawn it off somewhere. But no, it's just like, oh man. Okay, so we can do this, but I don't want to take -3 stamina, because -3 stamina is, and this is true, a lot. So we'll just go ahead and do 90% chance to hit and just hope for the best. We're just gonna go ahead and do a 90% chance to hit and hope for the best. And then what we can do, she do be coughing a handful of worms, though. That's not something that I needed to be actively aware of. Just for future reference, if anybody's making a mod or anything like that, I do not need to be made aware of coughing a handful of worms, to be honest with you. I feel like maybe that's under the TMI category, the too much information category. Perception check, luck check, ignore, because it's reason. And that's okay by me. So 48% Doom, otherwise known as +2 Mayhem. We are... Good thing we didn't take the stamina earlier. We would have been dead there if it were not for the painkillers. But now we're kind of sitting decently happy on... Hey, wait a minute. Now we're sitting kind of decently happy on 3 stamina, which isn't happy at all, by the way, but... We are going to get ending A here, assuming we live. We might not, and that would be pretty bad. So peek inside, pour acid, and then holes.mp4. And that's probably not an MP4 that you'd want to watch on your MacBook, but you know, maybe your Linux if you're feeling brave. Also, I realized I absolutely destroyed you guys. I said that the Web of Lies movie had like the first funny joke I've heard out of any of these things, and then I never told you what the joke was. I just rambled on about what the movie was, and I'd like to apologize for that. So, and tell you what the joke was. At the very beginning of the movie, the Instagram star, she's checking her latest Instagram post, and it's just in the corner. It's completely subtle. Like, she has dozens of comments, and she's scrolling through them, and when she stops scrolling to look at the stalker's weird message, at the very bottom of the screen, like in the corner, like again, it's very subtle, which I have to give them a lot of credit for. There's just some random user, I don't remember their name, but it's not the stalker, it's just some complete random person on the internet. And the comment is, show feet. It's so good, dude. It's so good. Because it's just like, and the comment shows up multiple times. Like when she's scrolling through her, she scrolls through that same Instagram post multiple times throughout the movie. And when she scrolls down, it's always there, just show feet. And it's like, the person who snuck that in there, they had an inkling of what the internet was, and honestly, I can really give them a lot of credit for that. So here's the thing. Spine-chilling story of school scissors scares the crap out of me when we're 5, 6. So I would rather do household hell, and we're gonna try to intimidate, I think. We're gonna try to intimidate, because I don't think we're gonna be able to recruit anybody. So we're gonna head on down here to the schoolyard, and we're gonna ask for you to join. We're gonna ask for you to join, and we're gonna ask you to join. Oh, she joined! Holy crap! Okay, that'll work then. Now we just need a light source. back to the hardware store. There we go. And yeah, okay, cool. We've got -3 reason guaranteed, and not +7% doom. So we take those, especially because we just got Vital Clue out of the blue, which is highly unfortunate. Chaos reigns, by the way. I have to kill Chaos, which is every single person in my Among Us group and Mafia group 24/7. Which, you know, it's been a bit of a bummer. Like, I set up a second Mafia game, and I haven't really... I think only 10 people have signed up, which we need, like, 12 minimum, but I'd like to get 13. So, it's kind of a bummer, but at the same time, it's like... Since my internet's dead, there's no real, like, rush, if that makes sense. Like, I don't feel like, oh, you know, I gotta, like, @ everybody multiple times to hassle people into joining. It's like, nah, people can join when they're ready, because my internet's down, and it doesn't matter when they join, because it just matters when the internet gets fixed, which is both real and true. So I value the knowledge, I think, and then we can go ahead and take stamina here, which what I want to do... And it's kind of a bummer because we kind of need to, like... I mean, Father Yasugi helps, but the Doom's creeping up there, and there's not really much that I think I can do about it. Like, I want to rest here, but we can't because we Doom out. And this is just, like, a bummer, but it's not actually... Like, okay, 14% Doom is the fault of Knight Errant, but truth be told, and we're most likely going to die here. If we live, that would be the unexpected situation. But we can take 2 more stamina cadaver, or 2 more reason cadavers, I should say. Or we can take 1 reason cadaver, I really should be saying. But it's mostly the fault... Okay, so by extension, it is the fault of Knight Errant, but 14% Doom is not actually that bad, okay? 14% Doom is not actually that bad. The problem is, with Knight Errant, the fact that it is detrimental to your run, like, I would say 80% of the time, to go for ending A. Right, like, the only mystery where going for ending A specifically is a benefit is Bulletin Board, because all of the other endings are like -5 stamina, -5 reason, +5% Doom. So you want to go for ending A on pretty much none of the mysteries. Like, and here's the thing, in Timeline B, which we're not playing, by the way, we're playing Timeline A. In Timeline B, you can't get ending A on a few mysteries, and in Timeline B as well, where you can still get ending A, the new endings are usually better, like Fear Festival. And in some cases, even, I mean, we'll die to... Wait, hold on, do we die to this? Oh, wait, this instantly kills you, right? Oh, so we can't do this. Is that correct? Like, This instantly kills you because it's... Yeah, because it's in combat. You don't take the damage afterwards. So, I mean, we were going to lose there no matter what, because if we take the +7% Doom from not doing ending A, we die. And then we take the +7, and then we take the -3 reason there. So that's a bit of a bummer, and this is going to be your video for today, but I would like to finish explaining about Knight Errant and why it's so bad. Okay, so let's take Forest, right? The tapes one, right? The Blair Witch look it and pour a can of acid down the well. If you think about it...
Well, we're terribly sorry. We've lost Emmerdale through some technical fault. We're trying to find the fault, and we will correct it as soon as we can and go back to Emmerdale as soon as we can. Until then, we'll play a little... I'm pleased to say we can rejoin Emmerdale.
Okay, I apologize. Briefly interrupted. So, here's the thing. If you look at Freaky Feature of Found Footage, which, thank you, Brain, for remembering that. If you look at Freaky Feature of Found Footage, ending A, in order to get ending A, that is 4% Doom, okay? Not getting ending A, and here's the thing, 4% Doom minimum. because you're not guaranteed to get the can of acid in the store. So it's 4% Doom minimum and 3 funds, which is a big deal. And so you have that, and that the can of acid is pretty much a useless item. I don't think there's ever been a case in the entire game where I've looked at myself and been like, oh, if only I had the can of acid. I've literally never thought that, and maybe it could come in handy, but for 3 funds and 4% Doom minimum, no, 8 damage on whatever enemy type is not worth it. And so, I'm really, like, so if you think about it, the difference between 4% Doom minimum, 3 funds, versus 7% Doom flat is not really a big deal. But you are encouraged to go for that 4% Doom because you like to shave off as much Doom as possible. Because you're guaranteed to at least get 4% Doom, but if you don't do that, then you get 7%. But that leads to absolutely horrible scenarios where the game can just absolutely screw you with RNG. And it's happened to us before, where we had the money, we had the 3 funds, we go there to get the can of acid, and it's not there. And so we have to reroll. And rerolling is 3% Doom, so we've spent 7% Doom trying to dodge a 7% Doom bullet. And so, like, if the can of acid is not there on the first go, then you have spent 7% Doom to avoid 7% Doom, at the minimum. And if you reroll and the can of acid still isn't there, then you've spent more Doom trying to avoid that Doom bullet. So you can accidentally set yourself up with a 14% Doom damage on a mystery, or even more, right? And so, if you look at something like that, that's just one mystery, though. Let's take another one. Let's take Household Hell, for example, the thing that ended up killing us. And, like, again, I'm not complaining. I'm trying to put into perspective why Knight Errant is so devilish, but also not really that fun. Because every mystery, except for, like, Fear Festival and Bulletin Board, ending A is something that you don't really want to do because it's actively detrimental to your run, and it actively requires resources. I feel like Knight Errant would be a lot more fun on either normal or hard, where you have more resources to work with. But on Harbinger of Doom, you're just so constrained with resources that I think it's not really that viable of, like, you can do it. Like, we've done it, like, probably dozens of times, but it's just not very fun. Because it literally just comes down to what mysteries do you have. And if you're playing on Timeline B, then it's just that much harder, right? So, and it's not hard in the good way, where you're, like, planning out your run. And I mean, here's the thing, you can plan around Knight Errant, but the problem is that in a game with RNG, like this one, you can't plan around everything. And, you know, you get a vital clue or two, and even if you think you're gonna have enough Doom for something, you probably won't, right? Like, if we were playing on any other backstory, we probably win that. But actually, we do win that because we're at like 60% Doom instead of 74. We don't have to take ending A's. We have money to buy healing items instead of flashlights and cans of acid. But sorry, back to the Household Hell. If you're on Household Hell, then again, 4% Doom minimum going to the shop. And if you go to the dog shop, like I've made the mistake of doing, then, oh boy, you're in bad luck, because the dog has a wide pool of items, and the flashlight is just one of them. Well, at the department store, at the hardware store, there are 2 items that count as light sources, and they're both the same price, and they both work the same. And the hardware store has a much smaller pool of items. So the hardware store is where you go for a flashlight. However, it's like, if you go, and that's one of the reasons why I do like the heavy-duty flashlight, by the way, is because it has that versatility of a blue option. And the monkey wrench doesn't, but I'm not gonna blame the monkey wrench for this loss. Although it would have helped having +3 funds and -4% Doom, but again, that's not the important part. The important part is that in order to get a flashlight, you have to spend 3 funds. And 3 funds is a lot of money. Right, 3 funds is a lot. You know, that's 1 fund off of being a pain med or an experimental treatment. So, like, I'm just looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, like, you're spending 4% Doom, and you have a pretty high chance of getting a flashlight, but what if you don't? It's possible. And if you don't get a flashlight, then you're spending 3% Doom to reroll. Now, if you didn't get a flashlight on your second reroll, God help you, because that's horrendously unlucky. You'd basically have to roll the exact same shop again, which is possible, but very unlikely. So you're spending 7% Doom to dodge 7% Doom, and in the process, you're gonna lose an ally, and you're gonna take -3 reason. Unless you have Kana, of course, in which case you don't lose the ally, because Kana is the master of faking their own death. And or also possibly an eldritch deity, because when asked who his favorite old god was, Panstash posted a picture of, like, Kana with beta art. Like, the old Kana with a Doritos t-shirt. But then you look at something like Botany, right? Botany, without mermaids, is literally impossible to get ending A. You can't. And so, when you just see Botany show up, and I mean, here's the thing, Botany is so overwhelmingly difficult to get ending A in general. So if you see Botany, that's plus 7% Doom, that actually is more like plus 10% Doom, because you get, plus 9% Doom, because you get plus 2% Doom from Shiro-san dying. So you're looking at plus 9% Doom, like 99.99% of the time. The only time you're not is if you're playing on an easier difficulty where you have more than 15 health. Or you are playing as Miku with looting and you have like 11 funds and you bought a bunch of pain medications and whatever. Or you have spells and you have flesh regrowth and memory extract. Those are pretty much the only scenarios. And again, if you're playing as... If you're not cheesing the game with flesh regrowth and memory extract, then you're still spending a lot of resources on healing items that you would probably just better off, like, be going for, like, buying the healing items that you need would end up giving you more Doom than getting ending B or C, right? Which is, like, leaving Shiro-san or escaping with Shiro-san, blah, blah, blah. So, like, Botany is just, like, you see Botany and you're playing Knight Errant, unless you also have mermaids and you also have flesh regrowth and memory extract, you probably hit Q. Because it is a guaranteed, like, 7 to 9% Doom, depending on how you play it. Again, if you kill Shiro-san, then you don't have that plus Doom from him, so it would just be 7, but if you let him die to the vines, then that is, I think, plus 2% Doom. So, you know, immediately, right off the bat, like, 3 mysteries that we had completely screwed us. But then you look at something like School Scissors, and you're like, okay, it's an easier fight, and it does give you ending A, and you don't really want Cursed Scissors when it would give you Doom to use them, and you already have Knight Errant, so you probably don't want to do that, which is completely fair. However, and this is the point, is that it's still detrimental to go for ending A, because having a guaranteed 3 damage on demand is better than a slightly easier fight, because the fights are basically the same. Like, I think it's just the health, right? Like, I could be wrong on that because we don't play Timeline A very often, but I'm fairly certain the difference is how much health she has, which isn't really that big of a deal when you can just brace for impact and block and take 1 damage a turn. But yeah, I'm just thinking, like... And again, if you time the mysteries correctly, then you can heal afterwards if you get low, but... So, that's 4 mysteries, and then our 5th mystery... I mean, I suppose it doesn't... Was it... I don't remember what our 5th mystery was, because we never got to it, but... And I don't remember it, but... I'm just thinking to myself, like, there are so many mysteries that are just... There are certain runs where you just are completely screwed, right? Like, if you get items from enemies, like you fight a Stock-chan, you find a Burning Man, a Doll Nurse, etc., etc., a Cultist Hunter B, or, well, not Billy Mays, because you can't discard the idol. But, you know, an enemy who drops something. You fight an enemy who drops something, and then suddenly, like, Sorrowful Saga of Moonlit Sailors and the Ramen Mysteries, Rancid Ramen Mysteries, they become a lot more doable, because you now have items to discard. But we've had lots of runs where you basically just have your weapon, and then nothing else, and then you spend all of your available money buying healing items, and we win those, because we're not on Knight Errant. But, you know, if you look at something like that, and it's a discard 2 items mystery, it's literally completely based on RNG, because you do not have enough resources to do those mysteries and then still win the game. Like on ending A, I should say. And so, you know, it's a weird one. It really is, I'll say, because I think that Knight Errant was designed... Like, Knight Errant has an interesting design, I would say. But I just think that the game... Like, here's the thing. The game's not really designed for Knight Errant. Because... Like, I remember when it first came out, it was like, Knight Errant will give those of you who want a challenge, like, a really hard time. But it's not really a fun challenge, because I've played the game so much that I just look at the mystery list and I'm like, oh, come on, man. So, it's not really... Like, I guess to me, I find enjoyment from a challenge based on me getting better at a game. Because when I first start playing games, I'm awful. Like, you've seen the Noida videos. And then you've seen me revisit Dark Souls after, like, several years. I'm bad, right? But when I get into them, and I get back into the flow of things, and I get used to how it works, I start having fun, like, doing the challenging parts, right? But for this game... You know, a lot of the challenge comes on what RNG you get, right? Like, what enemies you fight, what events you get, what mysteries you get. And I've played so much that I kind of can just see where a run is going, and I don't really get surprised that often anymore. Like, I have a general idea of how it's gonna go. And so, when you look at something like Knight Errant, there's no, like, it's even less of a surprise, right? Like, you can basically just say, like, oh, yeah, those mysteries, that's plus 7% Doom, plus 7% Doom, plus 7% Doom, and we're playing a character who needs to heal a lot because she has a very bad early game and very bad early combat. Oh, boy. And so you're spending all of your resources early to recover, and then it's like, you don't have any resources to get ending A's, and so you get like 14% Doom and lose the game, or more, God forbid. But it's just like, I don't know. The invigorating novel is just not good enough, right? Like the inspiring novel is just not good enough. Like, it plus 2% damage, I think it's kind of like, I don't want to say like, it's not, I don't want to say like, something that would get me in trouble, but it's not a very clever way to give you a benefit on Knight Errant, right? Like, it's just a win button for a mystery, which is boring. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. My name's Webweaver. I gotta cut myself off at some point. I'll see you on the next episode of World of Horror. Peace out. Have a good one. Bye. Stay safe out there.